Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds. Thank God it's Friday. All right, so we all pretty much knew this was going to happen in Major League Baseball, and it was unanimous. But before you start talking about the MVP, let me just say props to Bobby Witt. 30 for the second place, and I think that's a huge deal for him.
And he is an MVP in waiting.
Yeah, I think so too. But got to give props. The man who just owned the regular season, and it was unanimous.
Both of them were, as a matter of fact. No surprise at all. Shohei Ohtani of the Dodgers is the National League Most Valuable Player. Aaron Judge of the Yankees gets the prize, as Mike just mentioned, in the American League. Ohtani, this is interesting because the guy's now 30 years old. This is his third MVP, and the first in the National League. Now, that puts him in the record books as the second individual ever to win an MVP in the American League and in the National League. And the other is the late Frank Robinson, who was with the Cincinnati Reds and the Baltimore Orioles when he won back in the 1960s. All Judge did this year, actually Ohtani, I should say, all he did was hit 54 home runs, bat .310, and drive in 130 runs, and it's a unanimous choice. Unanimous choice also for Aaron Judge, although Bobby Witt Jr. was in second place. 58 home runs for Aaron Judge, a .322 batting average. Think of that now. Here's a home run hitter who hit .322. Now, he didn't have a great World Series, but that doesn't count. All you're doing is looking at the regular season and what happened there. 144 RBIs for the Yankees. This guy, he is the real deal, and he'll be around for a couple more years. I believe Judge is 32, if I'm not mistaken. He is the seventh Yankee to win Most Valuable Player honors, and we're going back now to the days of Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig and some of the all-time greats, Yogi Berra, people of that caliber, Mickey Mantle, and Roger Maris. Come on, these were all Yankee players. And these guys joined the elite group that has won MVP, Shohei Ohtani of the Dodgers and Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees.
Why does he fail in the postseason? What's the deal?
Now, keep in mind now, the postseason's a limited number of games, and there are times during the season when players go into slumps. It just manifests itself at that time.
Judge just has a consistency problem in the postseason. It just blows my mind. I don't care. I'm a Royals fan, but whatever. It's just crazy. Congratulations to both of them, and both of those guys are getting paid. Now, let's talk about the local scene. You got some boys that are vying for some hardware of their own in the state of Missouri.
All this weekend, as a matter of fact, and two of the games are tonight. Nixa goes on the road to Lee's Summit North up in the Kansas City area. Lee's Summit North is a very, very, very good football team. They're the number one ranked team in the state. Nixa is undefeated, and they're ranked number 3 or 4, depending on what rating service you look. They are also very good. They're also very, very big. It's a huge team. This could be the state championship game. It is the state quarterfinals in Class 6, but the two best teams in Class 6 are playing in this one, in my opinion, Nixa and Lee Summit. That's tonight. And then in Class 1, where there is no state quarterfinal, they go right from districts to the semifinals. That's because of the numbers of teams in Class 1. Here in the area, Marionville, the defending Class 1 state champions, will go up against a very good Adrian football team. That is tonight. All the rest of them, Class 2, 3, 4, and 5, are tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock, and almost all for the area teams are at home in this. So some really good football coming up.
Last but not least, we had some action on the court last night. Did you get out and watch that game?
I wasn't able to go to it, but it does bring back a lot of memories because it was Drury versus Graceland. Now, back when I first came to KY3 over 50 years ago, Drury and Graceland were in the same conference. Both played NAIA basketball. Graceland stayed NAIA and plays in the heart of America with Evangel and those people. Drury is NCAA Division II. No contest, right? Graceland came in undefeated, 7-0. They leave with 1 loss. Drury 81, Graceland 54. That's the first loss for the Yellow Jackets. 3 Drury players in double figures, including Zach Howell, who is a former Springfield Catholic standout. He had 23. So a very nice night for the Drury Panthers. They needed that game.
We've got some really good college football games this weekend, don't we?
There are indeed, and that's the way it should be, too, with the national rankings in something of a jumble, but the teams are pretty much the same ones. They're set for what they have been. This 12 teams this year. It's a new playoff system, but much of the focus is on Ohio Stadium in Columbus, where about 105,000, 106,000 folks will gather. They always do whenever the Buckeyes play. But this year, it's Indiana versus Ohio State. In the past, nothing. That's a walkover. Buckeyes win that one big. Au contraire, Indiana is undefeated. They're the number 5 team in the rankings. They're playing the number 2 team in the rankings. Could conceivably play again for a Big Ten Conference Championship, although that's highly unlikely. Indiana, Ohio State tomorrow about midday. That'll be a dandy. Another one is Kansas, the Jayhawks. They are playing at home. Wait a minute, how can they play at home? They don't have a stadium on the Lawrence campus. It's being refurbished. Absolutely right. So where do they play? You bet. Arrowhead Stadium, Kansas City, and this will be a game in the afternoon. And who do they play? Deion Sanders and company. Colorado, Kansas. Won't that be a dandy? And watch out, folks. Kansas is pretty doggone good. Yankee Stadium in New York, they'll have a full house, almost 70,000 to watch a renewal of one of the traditional rivalries in college football, Army versus Notre Dame. But watch out in this one. Notre Dame is number 6 in the rankings. The top 12 teams make it to the playoffs. Army is 19th, and Army is unbeaten, and they're a very good football team. Do we have a big surprise coming? Penn State goes to Minnesota. Minnesota's a very good football team. Mizzou, which is number 23 in the rankings, goes to Starkville, Mississippi to play Mississippi State. Missouri, a big favorite in that one. And here's one. Alabama going to Oklahoma to play the Sooners. Won't that be a dandy? Oklahoma's not as good as they have been, folks. You all know that. Alabama is very good. Should be a very good football game.
Absolutely should be. I'm kind of scared to watch my Wildcats against Cincinnati tomorrow after what happened against Arizona State last weekend. That was a nightmare.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, though, Cincinnati's good, but they're not great, and I think Kansas State has a very nice football team.
I do think they do too, but man, after watching that game last weekend, it was like they were playing. They sent all their little brothers from high school in there to play for them. It was crazy. All right, so it's been one hell of a season for the Missouri State Bears, and it's a chance for them to possibly write a little record. Is that right?
It is indeed. This is the final game for the Bears. They are ineligible for postseason competition, an NCAA rule that says if you're changing conferences and changing divisions, which the Bears are, then you can't play in the postseason this year nor next when they join their new conference. All right, the Bears play their final game ever as a Missouri Valley Conference team, their final game ever as a 1AA or FCS teams. And who are they playing? Appropriately enough, the 2-time defending national champs, South Dakota State. The Jackrabbits from Brookings, South Dakota, come down here, and folks, they're really good. They are really good. Are they as good as North Dakota State? Well, North Dakota State beat them in the regular season 13-9. Oh, my. These are big people. They're quick people. It'll be tough. 2 o'clock kickoff, Plaster Sports Complex. Next year, the Bears are in Conference USA. That's a Division I league, 1A or FBS bowl eligible. Of course, the Bears can't play next year in the postseason either. But a great way to close out what's been a very good season for the Bears with 8 wins and who knows, maybe 9. It will be a very good showcase now for some of the Bears players who might be thinking about the NFL. South Dakota State, I promise you, is thinking about the NFL. They might get this one. They have 7 players from last year's team who are playing in the NFL right now.
Yeah, that's that.
And you
program,
see them all the time on the lineups and the rundown. Mm-hmm. This is really good. Anyway, 2 o'clock, Plaster Sports Complex, historic game. Bears last as what's called, quote, small college team.
Good luck to the Bears, and good luck to the Chiefs, who are looking to bounce back after a loss in Buffalo. This time they're in Carolina. Still 10 on this? Is that still
11?
Now it's 11?
Yeah. Kansas City is playing a very weak team. The Carolina Panthers, you look at them, Bryce Young was their godsend, supposedly All-America Alabama last year at quarterback. He hadn't been able to get things done. Andy Dalton, remember him? He's doing the quarterbacking now for the Panthers. They aren't very good, folks. And the Chiefs are an 11-point favorite going into it. Should be a big win. Broadcast schedule here on the Cave. We go in at 10 o'clock for Ned Talk. That will be 10 o'clock on Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Then at 11, the Chiefs Network takes over. Football games at 12. and one of the rare 12 noon games for Kansas City this year. Anyway, the Chiefs and the Carolina Panthers, Ned talk at 10. Hope to see you there.
Going to be a lot of fun, and again, Ned said it, one of our rare noon games and one of my favorite times of the day because hopefully we can get an easy win. I can get some chores done. You have a good weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.